Can you forgive a betrayal that kept you alive? Tragic love, family revenge, redemption. In the peaceful village of Yumyuk, two brothers were born under the same roof but carried different destinies, Solomon and Maxwell. Solomon, the older one, was everything a parent could wish for: hardworking, intelligent, handsome, and humble. His laughter lit up the compound. He loved his younger brother deeply, often giving him his share of food and defending him whenever he got into trouble. Maxwell, on the other hand, grew up in the shadow of his brother's brilliance. To the world, they were inseparable, but in Maxwell's heart lived a silent hatred. Each time people said, "Solomon is a gift from God," Maxwell's fists would tighten. He smiled outwardly, but inside he whispered, "One day, he will fall, and I will be the one standing." Then came Juliet, the most beautiful girl in Yumyuk. She was graceful, gentle, and admired by everyone. Both brothers fell in love with her at first sight, but it was Solomon who captured her heart. They were the perfect pair, she, the village's jewel, he, the golden-hearted dreamer. Their love became the talk of the town. Maxwell tried to hide his pain behind fake smiles. But each time he saw them laughing together, something dark twisted deeper in his chest. He told himself, "If she had met me first, she would have loved me. Solomon always gets everything. Always." From that moment, love turned into obsession. Years passed. The brothers left the village and carved different paths. Solomon became a respected business tycoon, known for his honesty and generosity. Maxwell, however, took a darker road, becoming a feared drug baron who built his empire on blood and deceit. He lived in a mansion filled with wealth and women, but his heart remained chained to one thing: Juliet. Even after all the years, he still dreamed of her, still envied Solomon for having her love. One night, Maxwell stared out of his glass balcony, whiskey in hand, and whispered to himself, "If I can't have peace, Solomon won't either." He called two of his men and gave them an evil order. Days later, the police stormed Solomon's house and found a horrifying scene: the dead body of Solomon's close friend, Chris, hidden in his storeroom. The news spread like wildfire. The great Solomon, a murderer. He was arrested, tried, and sentenced to death. Juliet was shattered. Her whole world crumbled overnight. She screamed and begged the authorities to believe in Solomon's innocence, but the evidence was too strong. From the shadows, Maxwell watched her pain and smiled. A week before Solomon's execution, Maxwell visited Juliet in tears, fake tears. "Juliet," he said softly, "I can save Solomon. I know people, powerful people. I can make sure he's not executed." Juliet looked up, desperate. "You can save him? Please. I'll do anything." Maxwell leaned closer, his eyes cold but charming. "Then marry me. If you become my wife, I'll make sure Solomon's sentence is reduced." Juliet froze. The room spun around her. Her heart screamed no, but her love for Solomon whispered yes. After nights of agony, she gave in. "I'll marry you. Just keep him alive." True to his word, Maxwell used his connections to reduce Solomon's sentence to a few years. A month later, Juliet and Maxwell were married. The wedding was grand, lights, music, laughter, but Juliet's smile was hollow. Her heart was somewhere else, buried in a cold prison cell. Every night, she cried silently on her pillow, whispering Solomon's name. Maxwell would reach for her, but she would turn away. He had her body, but not her soul. In prison, Solomon grew bitter. He couldn't understand how Juliet could abandon him. Every night, he stared at the ceiling of his cell and said, "How could you, Juliet? How could you marry my brother?" But he also promised himself that one day, when he was free, he'd uncover the truth. After 5 long years, Solomon walked out of the prison gates, free, but broken. He returned home, eager to find Juliet, but the moment he heard she was now Mrs. Maxwell, something inside him died. He clenched his fists and whispered, "She chose him over me." When Juliet heard Solomon was free, she sneaked out to see him. Her eyes filled with tears as she reached for his hand. "Solomon, please listen to me, I can explain." But he stepped back. "Don't. I've heard enough." Juliet fell to her knees, crying uncontrollably. "I did it for you. For your life. But Solomon turned his back and walked away, leaving her shattered in the dust. Haunted by pain, Solomon began digging into his arrest with the help of friends he met in prison. After months of investigation, the truth surfaced: forged reports, paid witnesses, and planted evidence. All roads led to one man, Maxwell. Solomon's world came crashing down again. His own brother, the man he once loved, had destroyed his life. He handed the evidence to the authorities, and Maxwell was finally arrested for murder, bribery, and obstruction of justice. For the first time, the once feared drug baron was thrown into the same kind of cell he had condemned his brother to. On the day of Maxwell's arrest, Juliet vanished. No one saw her again. 3 months later, Solomon met Juliet's best friend at the marketplace. With tears in her eyes, she told him everything: how Juliet had sacrificed herself to save his life. Solomon was struck with guilt so heavy it crushed his soul. "She gave up her happiness for me," he whispered. Determined to make things right, he hired private investigators to find her. Weeks later, they found Juliet living quietly in a small coastal town, teaching children and living alone. When Solomon saw her, his heart broke. She looked thinner, but her beauty and grace were untouched. He approached her slowly and fell to his knees. "Juliet," he said, voice trembling, "I should have listened. I should have believed you. You saved my life, and I repaid you with pain. I never stopped loving you. I don't care about the past, I just want a future with you, if you'll have me." Juliet's tears spilled down her cheeks as she whispered, "You were always my heart, Solomon." He brought out a small ring and slipped it on her finger. They embraced under the setting sun, their tears washing away years of pain. Solomon and Juliet got married quietly on the beach where they reunited. They lived a simple, peaceful life away from the noise and shadows of their past. Sometimes, at night, when the waves whispered against the shore, Solomon would look at her and say, "Love survived our darkest days, Juliet. It waited for us to find it again." And she'd smile softly, replying, "Because true love never dies. It only endures."